Alabama. From the Voting Rights March to the Civil Rights Memorial. Tonight, our path leads into the Dunn-Oliver Acadome. From Alabama's capital city, you're watching a Big Monday on ESPN. A little SWAC-tion, Jackson State and Alabama State. We thought we would see Alabama State's new head coach, the former NBA champion and NBA All-Star Mo Williams, but he will not coach tonight after testing positive for COVID-19 earlier in the day. And Ishraf alongside King McClure. We were looking forward to seeing Mo on the sidelines.
Hey, we were, but hey, this is the new norm in today's society. Mo, hate to see it, but me and him go way back. We'll get into that a little bit later in the broadcast.
So in his stead, Trey Johnson will be the acting head coach, and Johnson has serious ties with Jackson State. He was the SWAC Player of the Year for Jackson State, leading the Tigers to an NCAA tournament appearance as a senior. Both of these teams looking for their first win of the season. Jackson State 0-5 in non-conference. Alabama State did not play a non-conference schedule due to COVID concerns. Their season opener came just 2 days ago. A little bit of a slippery spot on the floor before the start of this one. Last year they met twice. Alabama State won, or rather Jackson State won both meetings. Delays have dangerous ends, King, and here we go.
Hey, hopefully we get a very good ending to this one.
Early candidate for player of the game as we're about ready for the opening tip, and it's controlled by the Jackson State Tigers. And King, this Jackson State team has not one but 2 conference player of the year candidates.
Hey, Tristan Jarrett, Javius McKinnis. Tristan Jarrett preseason SWAC Player of the Year, but his homeboy Javius McKinnis might give him a run for his money. Absolute dog down low.
Here is Jarrett, second leading scorer in the conference last year. And Ken Evans misfires the rebound to Kenny Strawbridge. Starting lineups for Alabama State. This is a team with 8 newcomers, a first-year head coach. They're still trying to figure out who their alphas are. DJ Heath, one of the senior leaders. Shot clock at 3. Kevion Stewart turns it over. McKinnis bats it ahead, and it'll go back to Alabama State. Wayne Brent in his 8th season as the head coach at Jackson State. A very successful high school coach in Jackson. Spent some time as an assistant at Ole Miss as well, and he feels he's got a team that can contend for a SWAC championship. They were in the semifinals of the conference tournament last year before the season ended.
Yeah, Jackson State has a great chance of winning a title this year. They do it on the defensive end, though. They caused 19 turnovers last game against Iowa State, so watch what they do on the defensive end.
Strong move to the basket. Brandon Battle misfires. Evans down the lane. Zeke Quinlan, he can hit that. The Montana State transfer leaving it short. Heath down the lane, swatted, and we get a blocking foul against Quinlan.
See if this is a foul. DJ Heath with a great drive. Oh, that was definitely a block. Big Zeke is feet on the line. Definitely the right call.
We mentioned Mo Williams, the head coach at Alabama State, not coaching today due to COVID. He was telling us the type of offense, King, that he wants to instill at Alabama State is a complex one. It's going to take some time, but what is his end goal? What is this offense going to look like when it works?
I mean, I think it's a whole bunch of continuity. I think a lot of times when we were talking to him, he said that they only had 3 weeks to practice before the season started because they didn't play a non-conference schedule. And it's hard. I played in college basketball, and it's hard to learn the offense when you have the whole time that you need. So for it to be shortened by that amount of time, very hard.
Kanan McClelland, who had not scored in 62 minutes this season, knocks down the three. And the quick trigger at the other end by Stewart. The follow, not there. One more chance, it's Jordan O'Neal. O'Neal again. And finally, McInnis, who averages a double-double, snares it away. Evans spinning inside and gets the teardrop.
Ken Evans is a kid that I think Jackson State really needs to step up because they have to find a third option. And I think he could potentially be the third option.
Again, for Alabama State, just its second game. 8 newcomers, guys learning to play together. Shot clock at 2, and a shot clock violation. Jackson State a little short-handed today. 5 players inactive. The 2 biggest names on there, Darius Hicks and Calvin Temple. Temple's their 3rd leading scorer. Hicks began his career in the ACC with NC State, and Coach Brent told us that as they look for that 3rd or 4th scorer, Hicks is one of the guys they feel can fill that role.
Yeah, another person that you know, Coach Brent thought could fill that role was Jonas James. So we'll see tonight who can be that 3rd guy for Jackson State if they want to get this victory.
There is Jonas James off the bench, and the rebound by Strawbridge. Kenny Strawbridge, 15 points per game at Western Nebraska, a junior college last year. 11 former junior college players on this Hornets roster. And another turnover for Alabama State. They had 20 on Saturday against Grambling, and Jarrett out of control, but bailed out by the blocking foul.
Tristan Jarrett, one thing about him, he is going to get the ball up in the air.
This Jackson State team, they don't shoot it particularly well from the field or from three-point range. What they do is get to the free throw line. Tomorrow night, an ACC Big 12 doubleheader for you. North Carolina against Miami at 8 Eastern, and then number 6 Kansas in Fort Worth to take on 9-2 TCU. What did you make of Kansas getting shellacked over the weekend by Texas?
I was shocked. But this Texas team might be the best Texas team that Shaka has ever had there. This team is good. They're experienced. They're older. They're mature. That's a team that can make some noise in the Big 12 this year.
Is that the biggest difference? Age?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of coaches say, what's the biggest difference between a freshman going into a sophomore year? And it's, hey, he's a sophomore now. He's more mature. He's been through it. He understands everything. By the time you're a senior, it should click. The light bulb has finally clicked for these guys. Oh.
McInnis, who leads the SWAC in blocks, erasing the opposition. Darian Wilson checking in for Jackson State, 12 in blue. With James McClelland. And here's Jarrett. It'll belong to Alabama State. You come at the best shot blocker in the SWAC, you better be careful. Javius McInnis canceling at the rim. Alabama State still without a field goal after the first media timeout. The Hornets also without their head coach, Mo Williams, today. If that name sounds familiar, it should. Former NBA All-Star with the Cavaliers. He was LeBron's wingman for a few years in Cleveland. Won an NBA championship with the Cavs as well. And you look at football, you look at basketball, there is now some serious star power in the coaching ranks at some of these MEAC SWAC schools in the HBCU.
Yeah, I love this. I love this a lot because it shows that HBCUs matter and HBCUs are important. And they are, because a lot of times when you look at coaches with that's been in the NBA, they go to schools that aren't HBCUs. So Coach Mo talked about it perfectly. It gives kids a chance. A lot of times kids do not think they can make it to the league when they go to HBCUs. So it shows something different, especially in the time today. So I love this a lot, and it gives the kids the opportunity to see something firsthand.
The basket counts and the foul, and Strawbridge to the free throw line.
Kenny Strawbridge, strong take and one on the reigning defensive player of the year. No, sir, you're not blocking this. And one.
To your point, we saw in the offseason McCour Maker commit to Howard. I know he's injured, but that was a consensus top 20 recruit, choosing Howard over the likes of UCLA and Kentucky and bigger schools. Deion Sanders being the head football coach at Jackson State, luring not only his son, but a four-star junior college recruit and one of the best recruiting classes in the FCS.
Yeah, I mean, you even saw it with Josh Christopher, who ended up going to Arizona State. He ended up putting, I think it was Howard or NCA&T, as you see the foul right there, in his top 5. I mean, it just shows love for the HBCUs, shows love for African-American people in our community.
How much of that do you feel is because of the backdrop of the past year, where people are more aware and attuned to the issues with race and social justices, and playing for an HBCU means a little more now than maybe it did before?
Yeah, I think everything as far as social injustice, as far as race, it got brought to the forefront due to Corona and due to being in the house, being quarantined. So I think that because everybody finally saw it, now people all of a sudden want to do things about it and make a change, because we need a change in this world in order, to basically uplift and to bring back unity and bring back, that being black is okay, being proud to be black. And I love what they're doing, Deion Sanders and Mo Williams, but we need more of this. It can't stop just with them two. It needs to continue, and they just set a trend.
E.J. Clark directing traffic, the junior from Dallas, another junior college transfer. Now Heath doubled.
Shout out Dallas, Texas.
You don't miss those chances. Latrell Tate averaged 25 a game in junior college last year, misses. They think he can be a big-time scorer at the D1 level.
Look, whenever you average 25 in the JUCO ranks, you're getting buckets. So this kid could be a kid for Alabama State. As you see the turnover right there, this kid could be a prominent player for Alabama State this year.
What's the toughest transition going from junior college to Division I?
Well, I mean, me personally, I never experienced it, but from what I've heard, it's just the structure. I mean, I've heard that, the schedule and just adapting to everything, adapting to time, adapting to the practices. The structure is just way different, and it's harder in college or in Division I, because it's way more to do. Everybody's just as good as you. Everybody just as talented. It's an interesting challenge.
3 no good by Michael Tate. Jackson State last year, one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country. Heath from the outside, and the three-point revolution, King, has not come to the SWAC, but Mo Williams wants to get there with Alabama State. He wants spacing, and he wants the three-point shot to be a real weapon.
Man, he sees that the game has evolved. Look at the Warriors. We have 7-footers shooting 3 balls like it's nothing. That's the name of the game. Can you make a 3? That's what gets you victories in basketball now.
Heath down low, swivels in, denied. And last touch, DJ Heath. Last season, really only one team, Alcorn State, better than 31% from three.
That's interesting. I mean, I wonder why that is. Like, I'm really curious. Like, why do they not value the three-point line? I mean, I don't know. If I'm a coach, that's my point of emphasis. Is we're getting up a whole lot of threes. That's all we're doing. In the last 30 minutes of practice, all we're doing is working on shooting.
Tristan Jarrett doubled. It'll stay with Jackson State, 2-point lead. Here's Tate, back iron, offensive rebound Evans. A follow is not there. Jarrett tracks it down.
Travel.
And Heath traveled. 5 turnovers now for Alabama State. And we get a held ball, possession arrow to Alabama State.
It's good defense right there.
Been a sloppy opening 8 minutes. Both teams a combined 4 of 22. Strawbridge from 15, no good. Tough shot, follows it. Still can't get it. Cousin the rebound, and it's there for the junior Jordan Cousin.
Jordan Cousin.
Jackson State turns it over on the other side. One of the best moments from last year's abbreviated basketball season. Thomas Snacks Lee went viral when he hit a 3 for the Tigers. He won an ESPY for it. We'll talk to him on the other side. Well, last year in a blowout win against Arkansas Pine Bluff, student manager Thomas Snacks Lee got into the game. His dream comes true, and then he knocks down this shot, and this video went viral. In fact, it was the can't stop watching moment, and it won Thomas Snacks Lee and ESPY. Snacks joins us now. You make that shot. I mean, you go national, you go international. What was this last year like for you since that shot?
This last year was surreal. Getting the opportunity to be able to play in a Division I basketball game, something that you dream of as a kid, and just being able to have that opportunity, to be able to dress out and be a part of, an elite group of guys. Given that the coach gave me an opportunity and took a chance on letting me get out there with the extra guys, it was, a moment like none other.
Snacks. So, I did a little Instagram research, and you chose between 4 establishments: Dick's Sporting Goods, Buffalo Wild Wings, Zaxby's, and Academy Sports and Outdoors. Why did you choose Buffalo Wild Wings?
I picked them because they were the most consistent with me with all the different events that they had. There's the Max's Nice Quarantine Challenge, as well as sponsoring my Snack Pack Elite AAU organization. They gave me a lot of opportunities to expand my platform And they also just, you know, continue to check in on me in every opportunity that they had for endorsement opportunity. They made sure that I was a part of it. So, you know, I felt like that was the choice, you know, the unanimous choice to be able to, you know, represent Buffalo Wild Wings.
Snacks, when you made that shot, this wasn't just a one-off. We saw you warming up before the game today. You knocked one down from the Hornet at center court. So tell the folks how often you practice these long-range three-point shots.
I probably practice that shot probably at least twice a day, shooting a series of anywhere from 200 to 300 shots a day. It's something that I do on a regular, just like I wake up and, you know, do my daily errands. I make sure I go get my long-range shots in as well.
You never want to move up a little closer to the three-point line?
I like a challenge. So anything that, you know, that's out of the ordinary that makes people say, oh, why you shoot so deep? I just like something that, you know, that engages the crowd and, you know, makes them go even crazier, you know?
So out of everything that's happened in this past crazy year, this surreal year for you, what is your most memorable thing that has happened?
The most memorable by far is the ESPYs. Being able to be selected in a group of 16 contestants and be able to, you know, engage my community, people national, all the people that, you know, rallied together to ensure that I get the ESPY award with the voting and everything like that. And also the Today Show. It was an experience like none other, being able to walk down to our theme song, get ready, and to see all the people happy to see me like I was on the red carpet. That was a great event. And, you know, just the ESPYs was a process in itself. I was discouraged thinking I couldn't be Simone Biles, and my social media team ensured that, you know, we stayed up late night, early mornings, and, you know, rallied to get the win. And once we got past Simone, I feel like we had no doubt in our mind that we could win the whole thing.
Snacks, look at you. You're talking about your social media team. You are now a full-fledged brand. Do you understand that? You are now a brand.
Yes, sir. You know, I often joke with my parents. I often joke with family. I say, you know, man, it's crazy how one moment can change your life. You know, I just constantly thank God for the opportunity to be able to have the platform that I have, to be able to inspire others.
Well, hey, Snacks, we're going to come right back with you, so don't go anywhere. We're going to step aside for this quick timeout. Ashraf King McClure, Thomas Snacks Lee, the legend who went viral with his shot, still with us. And besides King and I, what's the most memorable interview you've done, Snacks, in the last 9 months?
The most memorable, I'll say, of course, the Today Show, you know, as well as the TMZ and Barstool Sports and Part of My Take. Those were amazing as well. Just, you know, the sense of humor those guys had with, you know, my favorite snacks, my countdown of snacks. You know, it was just amazing to see how, you know, they go in depth and do so much research on you and kind of know so much about you.
Well, we're going to have to get that before we let you go. Your nickname is Snacks. You used to bring the team snacks over the years. So what are your favorite snacks?
My favorite snacks would have to be hot munchies. I love hot munchies. I like Starburst gummies. I like, of course, Skittles. I love Skittles. Yeah.
Snacks, we're coming up on another. Thomas Snacks Lee, we thank him for joining us, giving us a few minutes. You might see him with the Globetrotters. You might see him at the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game. He's certainly a BMOC down in Jackson. Well, if you like shots going into the basket, sorry. Haven't seen too many of those. Jackson State, 5 of 21. Alabama State, 4 of 21. How do you diagnose the offensive issues we're seeing right now, King?
I think it's one of two things. We can either say it's great defense being played, or we can say that it just comes down to whoever is going to put the ball in the hole right now, not even consistently, whoever's going to put the ball in the hole, period, will win this ball game.
That's been an issue. Brandon Battle misses, so Alabama State now 4 of 22. Evans kicked it to the high post. 3 on the way, and that one falls for Jackson State.
Hey, Kanan McClellan, guy who I go back with, went to leadership camp with, 0 points on the year. 2 threes in this game so far. Maybe he's the third option, the person that nobody would expect it. Maybe Kanan is the third option right now.
He was due 0 for 12 coming into this game and scoreless in 62 minutes. And headed to the free throw line is Alabama State and Jordan O'Neal. Thursday will be the game of the year in women's college basketball. UConn and Baylor. Now, I know you're a Baylor alum, so I'm going to pose this question to you, King. Better chance of getting to the Final Four this year, the Baylor men or the Baylor women?
That's a hard one. I feel like either way I answer this is going to be incorrect, but I got to show my loyalty to Scott Drew and the Baylor Bears on the men's side. Even though the women have a great chance of making it too, I got to show my loyalty to my guys.
Now, how many times in the past would you have said the Baylor men have a better chance of getting there than the Baylor women? Be honest.
0. It might be the first time I could truthfully say that and feel confident with my answer.
McInnes is blocked by O'Neal, who had 4 blocks in the opener on Saturday against Grambling State. Yes, that was the season opener for Alabama State. Just their second game. Battle, the nice move, and the finish.
Good spin move. Put him in a spin cycle. Brandon Battle.
Another junior college transfer. Battle snares the rebound. Nearly lost his balance. Clark on the drive, off the tin, deposit slip. And Alabama State now with a little something going offensively.
Okay, now we're starting to see Alabama State finally get into the flow. Like Mo said, it's going to take time. They just have to find their rhythm as a squad. Charge.
James leaning in, and it's an offensive foul, his second.
Brandon Battle right here. Put him in a spin cycle against the reigning defensive player of the year in the SWAC. You don't scare me.
Headlines from around the nation. It was announced today the entire NCAA men's basketball tournament will be held in Indiana. They'll have Indianapolis, Bloomington, West Lafayette, different sites, and they'll bubble up the teams. Third-ranked Villanova has to pause again. They postponed 3 games. Coach K will not coach this Wednesday against BC. He's in quarantine after a family member tested positive. He hopes to return Saturday against Wake. And Boston University and Holy Cross played today with both teams wearing masks.
Man, Anish, there is no way in the world I'm playing against West Virginia with a mask on. There's no way in the world. Count me out, Coach.
As both of these teams try to get into an offensive flow, what do you want to see?
Me personally, I just want to see ball movement. I mean, I feel like a lot of times it's one pass and a shot. I want to see more ball movement, see more flow of the offense, see them actually get into their offense instead of getting into quick shots.
E.J. Clark picking up the offensive foul. Light pressure now by Alabama State. Jarrett blocked. Jordan O'Neal, through the first game and a half, has shown some pretty impressive shot blocking prowess.
Jordan O'Neal, 4 blocks last game, continuing where he left off. No, sir. Get that out of here.
2 blocks in this game. Another JUCO transfer. Mo Williams has said he reminds you a little of Sean Marion. Has a bit of an unorthodox shot, and certainly you can see the springy athleticism in that 6'6" frame.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about being a good shot blocker is all about timing. Like, a lot of people think it's about athleticism a little bit, but it's all about timing. And Jordan O'Neal has great timing. You can see just on that last block. He was able to time that perfectly in order to get it where the ball does not drop, but it's just put in the air. So timing is everything for an elite shot blocker.
Battle lost it. Too much dribbling on the floor. And we get a jump ball. It'll stay with Alabama State. $12 transfers on this Hornets roster. 11 JUCO transfers. Mo Williams brought in 7.
A little jawing back and forth between Brandon Battle and Javius McKinnis. I'm here for it.
McKinnis reportedly an A+ trash talker. Big part of his game. King, was that part of your game, trash talking?
So, Anish, no, that was not part of my game. I was one of those players that let the game do the talking. Nah, that's one of those scripted answers. I mean, it really just depends on. It depends on what's going on in the scenario. If you talk to me, I might say something back.
So you were a trash talker.
Every now and then.
Hey, this week, Clippers and Warriors highlight our NBA doubleheaders Wednesday and Friday. How about Steph Curry? 62 last night against Portland. Plus, Titans-Ravens rematch in the NFL wildcard round. They played in the divisional round last year. Tennessee won that game despite a big game from Lamar Jackson. And then Bama and Ohio State next Monday. Who do you like in the national championship?
Ooh, if Justin Fields plays the way he played against Clemson, you have to go with Ohio State. That kid tore Clemson apart. I don't think I've ever witnessed somebody kill Clemson like that.
Tristan Jarrett for 3. Okay, but have you watched Alabama on offense this year?
Yeah, I saw when dude hurdled the other guy. And
Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris. I was like, oh, my goodness. But, yeah, they're good. They're really good, but I don't know. It's just something about Ohio State. I think they're out for vengeance.
They beat Alabama in the semifinals of the very first college football playoff. Big upset then. 2-point lead at Jackson State, the Tigers. Jarrett posting up. Finds the cutter. It's Evans. Offensive rebound, McKinnis. And that's what Wayne Brent was telling us. You don't have to create shots for McKinnis, and he still averages almost 16 a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to say this, but playing with the motor, playing hard, is considered a skill nowadays. And this kid, Javius McKinnis, every time he steps on the court, he plays with the motor and plays hard, which I don't think that should be considered a skill. It should be something that just is a natural thing you do every single time. But he has that skill and has that ability. McKinnis, he's blocked out on this, able to get off the defender. It's 1-on-2. It's him versus 2 Alabama State players. He still is able to get that offensive rebound with the putback.
He was the Defensive Player of the Year in the SWAC last year, the Freshman of the Year 2 years ago. His scoring has come up big time this year, and he may be the player of the year in the SWAC when all things are said and done. Heath forces it with the shot clock running down, and another rebound for McInnes.
He just works so hard. That's what Coach Brett said. He said he's constantly in the gym, doesn't have to beg the guy to work out, and that's what you expect from a guy who works so hard. You get what you put into it.
Jarrett from the corner knocks down the three. He had 31 against Alabama State 1 year ago today.
Uh-oh. Is he heating up? Will we see a repeat today?
An 8-0 run for Jackson State. Battle lost it. Jarrett took it away. But they get a foul. And it is on Brandon Battle, his second.
I'm loving the energy in this game. I mean, even though we're not there, Nisha, you can still kind of feel the energy, hear the yelling, and feel everything.
Well, that's going to be a challenge for a lot of teams this year, especially teams that are used to having that built-in home court advantage. The Kansases, the Dukes, the North Carolinas. You go to those raucous atmospheres. Well, now that home court advantage is gone almost completely. You don't have those fans, and you don't have, a student section that doesn't shut up for 40 minutes.
Hey, we saw what happened to Kansas this past weekend when Texas went into Allen.
Final ticks of the first half. James puts it on the floor, down the lane, leaner, short, and the first half comes to an end. Both of these teams looking for their first win of the season. Tristan Jarrett, one of the top scorers in the SWAC. 10 points to lead Jackson State. Kanan McClelland off the schneid. He hadn't scored in his first 62 minutes of the season. Hits 3 threes in the first half. Tigers up by 7 at the break. Jackson State shot 40% from 3 in that first half, just 27% on the season. And the Tigers with a 7-point lead against Alabama State. Kanan McClelland, who had literally done nothing offensively in the first 5 games, came through King McClure with 9 points and 3 triples in the first half.
Man, we talked about it at the beginning of the game. Who is going to be that third option? Hey, Kanan McClelland said, Coach, I got it.
First 5 games, 0 for 12, 7 turnovers, 0 points. Tonight, he actually has 9 points, 3 of 4 from the field, all attempts from deep. Jackson State, here's a weird stat for you. 6 of 15 from 3, 3 of 15 inside the arc. Explain that one.
I mean, hey, I was telling you, you need to stay on the perimeter. don't go in.
Wayne Brent, 8th season as the team's head coach. One of the most successful high school coaches in the history of the Jackson public school system. On the Alabama State sideline, you've got Trey Johnson, the acting head coach. He was a legend at Jackson State, SWAC Player of the Year, 27 a game as a senior. Acting head coach today because Mo Williams, yes, that Mo Williams from the NBA who played with LeBron, not coaching tonight after a positive COVID test earlier in the day. We spoke to him this morning and all seemed to be fine, and then we got the news this afternoon he wouldn't coach.
Coach Trey was getting busy in the SWAC. 1,600 in 2 seasons? My man was getting busy.
Jackson State in the blue, Alabama State in the home whites. Here's Tristan Jarrett, preseason player of the year in the SWAC, the long 2, and he's got a dozen.
That's tough, Tristan Jarrett. Starting to heat up. He might go off this half. Let's look for it.
In junior college, Jarrett had a 44-point game. That was at Three Rivers Community College, and the 44 points, one shy of that school's record, which is shared by Latrell Sprewell.
Oh, that's some pretty interesting company to be in. Replay. Oh, maybe a little headbutt right there. Head to the face. Maybe not. Maybe a little bit. He's okay, though. That's all that matters.
McClelland okay. Texas Southern transfer. Second foul on Strawbridge. You got a feel for Alabama State. We told you because of COVID concerns, as Jarrett misses, they did not play a non-conference schedule, played their first game on Saturday. And a whistle before the shot. But Mo Williams told us that because of contact tracing and COVID cases within the team, from the start of November up until this past weekend, they only practiced 3 weeks. And you've got 8 newcomers. It's hard to implement things. It's hard to be prepared to win. He said being prepared to play and being prepared to win are 2 different things. And this team is very much a work in progress in terms of figuring out roles, who are your key guys, how these guys play together. This is almost like training camp, but here you are in the beginning of 11-point lead for Jackson State. And we told you Mo Williams, head coach at Alabama State, Jackson State's head football coach, Deion Sanders. Wayne Brent told us, hey, Deion is so popular and so in demand. Wayne hasn't even met Deion yet, but first recruiting class, Neon, primetime, he made quite the splash. Obviously his son, one of the top quarterbacks in the country, a top 100 recruit committing to Jackson State. And by some publications, Jackson State was said to have the best recruiting class in the FCS.
Shouts to Deion Sanders. He was my high school football coach at my school when my school and Prime Prep combined. He was the football coach, and he was an interesting guy.
All right, so you can't just leave it at that. What's your best story?
I think my best story, as we see a potential injury right here.
DJ Heath landing awkwardly.
Heath, yeah. Oh. Let's see, my best Deion story. I mean, one day we were in a gym, and apparently he was good at basketball too. And he started talking trash, like he could really lace up right there and play. We were like, come on. You know what I'm saying? You kind of old school, like, come on, if you want to play. He didn't play, but he kind of knew his limits, knew he didn't want to get out there. But he was pretty cool. Shout out to Deion Sanders.
That would have been something because obviously he's played baseball at the major league level, football in the NFL. If he had come and he just started taking names on the basketball court, the legend would have blown up considerably.
But I remember one time you see a jump ball right there. I remember one time he was filming a show, Deion's Family Playbook, and it was in the gym, and there was a whole bunch of people in there. And he literally had like waivers, had permission slips for people to be on camera, and probably handed out a good 200 of them.
Wow.
For people to sign.
He has brought some excitement to Jackson State and to the SWAC and to HBCUs by taking that head coaching job. Nice move on the inside by Battle.
That's a big bucket. That's much needed right there because the momentum was definitely swinging towards Jackson State.
Ken Evans calling for the pick. Down low, McInnes gets the double, kicks it back to the corner, and Darian Wilson's three way off. Here's DJ Heath. He began his career at Canisius, former four-star recruit at a high school, turning it over there. 13 turnovers now for Alabama State after 20 in the opener on Saturday against Grambling.
Mind you, Jackson State did cause 19 turnovers in the last game against Iowa State. This is what they do. They pride themselves in defense, and they cause havoc.
Kanan McClellan, 9 in the first half. His dad, Charles, is the SWAC commissioner. And another 3 falls for Jackson State. That has been a weapon today. 17 for Jarrett.
Jarrett seems like he's turning it on now. He's taking this matchup personal.
And we get a foul on Strawbridge, his 3rd.
Tristan Jarrett, SWAC preseason player of the year. Well, let me show you why I can do it in all 3 levels, making it rain from downtown Tristan Jarrett.
Assists in the game, and we've seen a lot of hero ball. Mo Williams eventually wants a team that can space, move the ball, and get snipers good looks. And we've seen a lot of tough contested shots from the Hornets.
Great play. Tristan Jarrett, not only can he shoot the 3, but he can cut back door. They're cutting it off, playing it too high, goes back door.
Timeout Jackson State. They've got a 14-point lead. 5 of 7 from the field here in this second half. Now Mo Williams again, the head coach for Alabama State, not on the sidelines after a positive COVID test. He told us, as a first-year head coach, it's been hard. You're not just implementing a scheme, and it's a complex offensive scheme, but also a culture. And when you're not together, it's hard to do that.
Most definitely. I think that's the biggest thing that programs have to establish up front is a culture. Like when you look at programs like Duke, North Carolina, look at the top heavy hitters, even in the NBA, when you look at the Warriors, or you look at the Celtics. I mean, all those teams have established a culture. Like you step in here, you know what we're going to do. You know how we're going to play. You know how we're going to execute. You know what to bring and what to expect every time they step on the court. And Mo Williams has been in that locker room. He's been with LeBron James. He's seen culture firsthand with that team and what LeBron James, how he set the tone. That's what he's going to do at Alabama State, and I have no doubt that he'll do it.
He was telling us today, he said, the thing people sometimes miss about LeBron is his dedication is where you've got to convert.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Strawbridge, a lot of dribbling. Ran into McInnes. Strawbridge 4 steals. Jarrett began his career.
ESPN.
Double-digit lead for Jackson State. And when we talked to Wayne Brent, their head coach, earlier today, he said there have been challenges this season. 6 games have been canceled or postponed, including the Tigers' first 2 SWAC games. That changes how you prepare. He said, you know, it used to be you're getting ready to game plan an opponent. You try to do that these days, and now the game gets canceled. (43-32), Jackson State on top of Alabama State. Both of these teams looking for their first win of the season. Jackson State last year reached the semifinals of the SWAC tournament before everything stopped due to COVID. Alabama State ineligible for the postseason this year due to low APR scores. But Mo Williams, first-year head coach, not here tonight because of a positive COVID test. His goal is to put the foundation in place. And King, what you see tonight, you're seeing a team that just hasn't played together a lot. I think what you'll see from Alabama State a month from now is going to be a lot different than what you'll see over the next few weeks.
Right at McInnes. Right at McInnes.
That was a quick tech, unless Stewart said one of the magic words, I guess.
Yeah, he had to say something right there. That was a quick one.
There's Jarrett. He's got 23 against Strawbridge.
Oh.
Nice feed down low to Evans, who slips. Taken away by Heath. Numbers for the Hornets. The lob.
Man.
And we get a whistle going the other way. Strawbridge out of bounds. Is that a misses? The alley-oop.
Oh, man. Blown opportunity.
He thought about it. Then he saw number 11 coming over. Strawbridge on the drive, out of control. And a blocking foul. Well, it's the big debate in basketball. LeBron or Jordan? Mo Williams, Alabama State's head coach, chimed in. We'll tell you what he told us earlier in the day. Mo Williams spent almost a decade and a half in the NBA. Spent some time with the Cavaliers with LeBron James. He was LeBron's wingman on that 07 team that reached the NBA Finals and lost to the Spurs, and then won a championship with LeBron later in his career when they beat the Warriors. We posed the question to him earlier today, LeBron or Jordan? And Mo Williams said LeBron is the greatest basketball player alive. He was there up close and personal to watch it. He went with LeBron. You and I are from different eras, and I grew up with Jordan posters on my bedroom walls, so you kind of get an idea of where I stand. I'm curious, King. I mean, you're fresh out of college. Jordan or LeBron, where do you stand?
So I'm not a big LeBron guy. I mean, I respect him most definitely because of what he's done and the caliber of player he is. So you have to give him respect. But for me personally, after watching the Last Dance, I turned into a huge Jordan fan. But ultimately, I'm a Kobe guy. I love Kobe, and anytime somebody has that argument, I automatically insert Kobe's name, and that's what I think.
I think we look at Kobe's career in a much different light if Jordan never played.
I agree. Like, the evolution of his game has been super impressive.
The Blazers averaging 40 a game in the finals against the Suns. Then he quits. He plays baseball. He fails. He comes back. Wears the 4-5. Drops 55. There was this mythology. Hits the shot against the Jazz. The flu game. You had all those things and all those moments, which, again, in an era where we let things breathe and we gave things perspective and we didn't move on the next day or the next week. We let the moments linger. I think no athlete is going to have that again, and Jordan may have been the last guy to have those moments last as long as they have. And that mythology, to me, that is going to be untouchable. That's why I think, for a certain segment of people, as good as LeBron's going to be, they're not going to let him get to Michael Jordan's level, ever.
That's a great point. That was impressive how you were able to name all the Jordan events in chronological order.
I forgot the shot against Elo.
Hey, that was impressive. That was very impressive, Anish. But like I said, I wasn't alive. I was born in '96. So when I was born, that's when they won their last ship, right?
No, 96 was
96,
his
96,
first
97.
full year back when they won 72 games. And that was the first of the second three-peat.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm young. I know this. I was like 1 or 2. So, that's it. But I was there to watch Kobe's.
Mo Williams spent almost a decade and a half in the NBA. Spent some time with the Cavaliers with LeBron James. He was LeBron's wingman on that 07 team that reached the NBA Finals and lost to the Spurs, and then won a championship with LeBron later in his career when they beat the Warriors. We posed the question to him earlier today, LeBron or Jordan? And Mo Williams said LeBron is the greatest basketball player alive. He was there up close and personal to watch it. He went with LeBron. You and I are from different eras, and I grew up with Jordan posters on my bedroom wall, so you kind of get an idea of where I stand. I'm curious, King. I mean, you're fresh out of college. Jordan or LeBron, where do you stand?
So I'm not a big LeBron guy. I mean, I respect him most definitely because of what he's done and the caliber of player he is. So you have to give him respect. But for me personally, after watching the Last Dance, I turned into a huge Jordan fan. But ultimately, I'm a Kobe guy. I love Kobe, and when anytime somebody has that argument, I automatically insert Kobe's name, and that's what I think.
I think we look at Kobe's career in a much different light if Jordan never played.
I agree. I agree 110% because Kobe's literally a spitting image of Jordan after watching Jordan The Last Dance, which educated a lot of young people in my generation. And because yeah, as the producer says, young and dumb, I'm not going to say we're young and dumb. I think we're very intelligent. We're ignorant. We just never seen Jordan before because we weren't around in that era. Like, we saw Kobe, we saw the fadeaways, and oh, Kobe, saw what Kobe did. We didn't know that Jordan, was the first person to do it. But I got to go with Jordan in that argument, Anish.
As somebody who grew up in the Jordan era, the one advantage Jordan will have on everybody, especially in today's day and age where you have a 24/7 media cycle, there was a mythology to Jordan's career, and we were not judging his greatness on a game-to-game basis the way we do with LeBron, where essentially you have a media personality, no longer with our network, who sort of made it his MO over the years to diminish LeBron's career every chance he gets. So we've witnessed one of the great careers in NBA history, and LeBron's floor is probably, what, third greatest player of all time? Maybe second greatest player of all time?
Yeah.
But we've gotten so tired of just debating his greatness on a game-to-game basis. Jordan had bad playoff games too, but we weren't shouting at each other every morning, does this take away from what Jordan does? And then 2 games later, he scores 45. Is he the greatest player of all time? We haven't been exhausted by that debate in the Jordan era the way we have been in the LeBron era.
Man, I feel like people who try to diminish LeBron's greatness are people that have never played basketball. You can't diminish his greatness. I mean, his greatness is something that he shows night in, night out, to be 6'8", 260. Read the game like he reads the game, be able to take care of his body the way he takes care of his body, to work as hard as he works. You can never diminish that man's greatness, and you have to respect it. If you don't like it, you have to respect it.
One of the most impressive things LeBron has done, he's exceeded the hype. And if you remember, LeBron coming out of high school, still to date, most ballyhooed high school player of all time. He was supposed to be this all-time pantheon player before he had played a minute in college, and he never played in college, or the NBA. And he has somehow not just exceeded the hype, he has obliterated the hype.
Yeah, that right there is what's most impressive to me about LeBron. Like, off the court, I think LeBron is, one hell of a guy. Like, for real. I think that the way that he came into the league with all the hype, with the Nike contract and everything, then all of a sudden, he never lets none of that faze him. He never lets any of the hype get to him, and continues to produce and prove himself and get better and better. Like, the evolution of his game has been super impressive, and the way he just takes care of his body and respects the game and does it at a high level is just wow. Like I said, you got to respect the greatness. If not anything you don't like his game, don't like his style of play, got to respect the greatness.
But Jordan not only had the career, he had moments, and moments lasted longer in his era, where it wasn't all about Twitter and instant reactions. And it started, think about it, the shot against North Carolina, 60-plus points against the Celtics. Winning that first championship, the up and under move on Sam Perkins, the shrug against the Blazers, averaging 40 a game in the finals against the Suns. Then he quits. He plays baseball. He fails. He comes back. Wears the 4-5. Drops 55. There was this mythology. Hits the shot against the Jazz, the flu game. You had all those things and all those moments, which, again, in an era where we let things breathe and we gave things perspective and we didn't move on the next day or the next week. We let the moments linger. I think no athlete is going to have that again, and Jordan may have been the last guy to have those moments last as long as they have. And that mythology, to me, that is going to be untouchable. That's why I think, you know, for a certain segment of people, as good as LeBron's going to be, they're not going to let him get to Michael Jordan's level, ever.
That's a great point. That was impressive how you were able to name all the Jordan events in chronological order.
I forgot the shot against Elo.
Hey, that was impressive. That was very impressive, Anish. But like I said, I wasn't alive. I was born in '96. So when I was born, that's when they won their last ship, right?
No, 96 was
96,
his
96,
first
97.
full year back when they won 72 games. And that was the first of the second three-peat.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm young. I don't know this. I was like 1 or 2. But I was there to watch Kobe's championships and LeBron's championships. And one thing I will say, I don't think Jordan played against a better team than LeBron played against with the Warriors team.
Well, in the 90s, the super teams, they were not as super as they are now.
Which makes the argument that LeBron might be the better player, because it was harder for LeBron to do what he's doing than it was for Jordan.
It was different where, again, Patrick Ewing in his prime at least didn't leave the Knicks to go join forces with the Suns or the Sonics to try to win a championship. He went, you know, later in his career, once he was done, to Seattle and Orlando. Reggie Miller didn't leave Indiana to chase a ring somewhere else. So again, that was just a different time. And you know what? The Bulls had quite the super team too. I mean, you had 3 Hall of Famers and a Hall of Fame head coach.
Yeah, I mean, the Bulls.
Getting a little chippy here, and we told you McInnes is a trash talker. And now the referee's getting involved in double technicals issued.
It was an impressive shot block, though. It called a foul, but it was impressive. And I guess he said something to Javius McInnes, and McInnes didn't like it.
Who was the best trash talker you played against?
Ooh, that's... Oh, no doubt. Daxter Miles and Javon Carter. Well, Javon really didn't talk much.
West Virginia,
that team. And what was really tough was, like, they picked up 94 feet. So not only are you being guarded 94 feet, they're talking trash to you the whole 94 feet. And it was kind of annoying, and it kind of, you kind of got tired of it. But that's just how they were, and they were just super tight. They tried to punk you. But once they realized that you weren't backing down, they kind of backed off. But at the beginning of the game, yeah, for sure, they're trying to punk you off rip. Like clean block to me, kind of.
McInnes and O'Neal doing battle down low. McInnes, the reigning SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. Chuck Jones, Chris King, Matt Potter, the officials. I'm going to watch this one on the monitor to see if there's any more punishment to mete out.
Like clean block to me. Like McInnes started it. Jordan O'Neal just reacted.
Here's a better look. Can't really tell what McInnes said.
Yeah.
But he said something. And then you see his teammates come over and say, easy, big guy, we got this one. So let's see what happens with the call. We're waiting to get an explanation.
I think it was a double tech, and that was it. Back to play. Yeah.
So a shooting foul against O'Neal, double technicals on O'Neal and McInnes. Referees wanted to just confirm that. And this is where McInnes has improved this season. Wayne Brent telling us he's going to be better at the free throw line, and that's going to help him quite a bit, especially in the scoring department, because he's going to get opportunities down low doing the grunt work and having a chance underneath the basket with bodies flying around.
Yeah, when you play so hard, and as we see a jump ball right there by McInnes, when you play so hard and you get those opportunities, you get to lose balls, you able to bang down low, you're going to end up on the free throw line.
A minute 12 to go. Jackson State on the verge of its first win. Alabama State looking at 0-2, and that's on Battle beats McInnes. Battle has shown some nice low post moves today.
Yeah, Battle has shown potential as being a low post threat for Alabama State and Mo Williams. Maybe it's one of those games where you learn your team. You learn what your team can do, and they haven't had the opportunities to be able to show it because they haven't played. Maybe seeing something like out of Brandon Battle tonight.
Foul is on Strawbridge. Tristan Jarrett back to the free throw line. He's 4 for 4. 23 points, 3 triples, make it 25. Over on ESPN2, West Virginia and Oklahoma State down to the wire.
It was an interesting decision by Oscar Sheway to leave West Virginia.
What did you make of that? How does that impact West Virginia?
I think there's 2 things to make of that. I think that really impacts West Virginia. I think it hurts them more than they probably know. I mean, as soon as he left, they go down to OU and get popped by OU. I think it hurts them down low because Derek Culver and Oscar Sheway was a hard duo to stop down low, especially in the interior. The way they rebounded and played so hard. But I think, sometimes just not everybody's the right fit for a system. I mean, knowing Oscar Sheway, knowing what type of kid he is, knowing how nice he is, Hugs is hard to play for. And sometimes I feel like a lot of kids can't take it. I mean, some kids can, some kids can't. It's not for everybody.
That's an old school coaching style. We get another foul. Latrell Tate, sophomore, Alabama Junior College Player of the Year last season. Jonas James at the free throw line. Legacy player, mom and dad both went to Jackson State. Uncles and aunts went there as well. So did his pastor. Here comes Strawbridge, turns it over, and that'll do it. Jackson State gets its first win of the 2020-2021 season. Alabama State, in just its second game of the year, falls to 0-2 and 0-2 in conference. And for the Tigers, King, we know what Tristan Jarrett can do. We know what Javius McKinnis can do. If those two get help, this team is dangerous in the SWAC.
Hey, they might have found that help tonight in Kanan McClelland. Stepped up, played huge tonight. Hey, they might have found a third option.
Jackson State 52% from the floor in the second half. They snapped their 5-game losing streak. Tigers victorious in Montgomery.